Five Nights at Freddy's features a large variety of locations throughout the games. We have small locations, expansive and unending locations, rotting locations, and even sister locations. Okay, I know that's not my best joke, but it could have been a lot worse. The point is, FNAF has presented us with a bunch of locations across its many installments, and these places are all quite unique from each other. Have you ever genuinely thought about the layouts of these buildings though? I'm willing to bet that most of you probably haven't. They're often the most overlooked aspects of these games. I never really see anyone talking about the buildings themselves while playing. And, I suppose that's a good thing, because if you actually do examine these floor plans, you may notice a few, how do I say this, interesting decisions. Maybe I should have never looked into this stuff, because now I'll never unsee just how awful these layouts are, no matter how hard I try. The pipeline of starting a FNAF YouTube channel with small theories and transitioning to highly researched videos on the most obscure topics is scary. Before we get into it, real quick, I just want to promote myself. I put quite a bit of time into these silly videos, so I would highly appreciate it if you considered liking the video and subbing to the channel. I post every other Friday with a FNAF video about something random in the series. Thank you. Now let's talk about FNAF's confusing locations and how I fixed them. Today, I want to cover the first 6 games in the series. Maybe, if this video does really well, I'll go over all the quirks that the Pizzaplex has, because that place is more than massive enough for its own video entirely. Also, besides these 6 games, there really aren't any other locations even worth talking about in Five Nights at Freddy's. Maybe Fredbear's Family Diner, but we don't even have an official model for that place. With all that being said, let's begin with none other than FNAF 6. Yeah, you probably thought I would say FNAF 1, didn't you? Well, I want to go from least confusing to most confusing, and I want to save the first 3 games for later in the video because I actually remade these 3 maps to fix all the issues I have with them. Anyways, Pizza Sim. You might think that a small pizza place with a literal grid of vents surrounding it would actually make it the least sense out of anything, but this isn't true. The building in this game actually makes the most sense out of any of them in the series, and you may already know the reason why. This place is made to be confusing, made to, well, not make sense. That's because it's just one big trap. No one is ever actually in your pizza place. The layout of the building itself is not important or relevant in any way. It does exactly what it's meant to do. It's a trap. With that being said, let's not waste any more time on this one. On to the next one, Five Nights at Freddy's 4. Now I know I just said that if it's a trap, the layout of said trap doesn't really matter. However, this one bugs me significantly more than the last one, so I'm talking about it. If the whole thing about nightmare gas is true, why would Afton purposefully design this testing area to make no sense? Wouldn't he want to make it feel as real as possible to the kids he was testing on? It's an unusual thing for a bedroom to have 2 halls leading to it in the first place, but it makes literally no sense here at all. We know that the crying child's room did not have 2 doors like this, so why here? I get that it's kind of trying to emulate a nightmare, and I guess we don't really know how powerful this gas actually is, but still, I can tell you that if I was really here, I would know something was off, even if I was like 10 or whatever. Another thing that bugs me is the plush trap room. It's got even more doors in it. Is this also a nightmare experiment room? Probably, considering it is on the sister location map. I think the real explanation that Scott wants you to think about is just gameplay. FNAF 4 is, after all, the best of the first 6. No, you can't change my mind, and you're wrong if you think otherwise. Anyways, the gameplay is definitely enhanced in favor of layouts that just don't make any logical sense. With that being said, our next game is even more confusing somehow. Where do we even begin with this one? Is it the ridiculously long elevator ride down here? The fact that you have to crawl through the vents to get everywhere in the building? The way there's no alternate path to get to the breaker room and repair rooms other than directly through the animatronics, that's definitely a big problem. There's a lot to unpack here, and I kind of wish there wasn't. Hot take of the day, I actually really dislike Sister Location. Part of that is the quite honestly awful layout it presents. It doesn't even make sense to have it this way gameplay wise. Crawling through the animatronic room, sure, but the vents that actually serve no purpose, why was it done this way? The main thing with this game isn't anything actually to do with the places you can go, it's the places you can't. Now, I don't care how much money Afton made from Freddy and Friends, why is there a direct connection from the bunker to Fredbear's Family Diner and the Afton home? It's connected in the same exact way that the Nightmare Experiment rooms are. Does this imply that it's also just an experiment chamber? To me, it clearly looks like it's trying to say that. I mean, I think Sister Location is like a true blunder for the series. Like, this feels like a Garten of Banban map. It really does. It makes no sense layout wise, and it's just confusing. It's not good. It might be the worst map in the entire series. Another thing about this one that kind of just makes me upset is the fact that in Help Wanted, we get to play the plush trap game again. Except there's a door behind us, not present in the Sister Location map, as well as no vent, which is present on the Sister Location map. Can you all tell that this is my least favorite game in the series? Maybe I'm being a little more mean about this than I should be, but I honestly think it's justified. Anyways, on to something I'm actually excited to talk about, Five Nights at Freddy's 3. Out of all the locations I'm covering today, this one is definitely the most usable to the public without any changes. Like, could you imagine if Fazbear Frights was a real place? Minus Springtrap being there, this place would actually be so sick to go to. Still makes me wish they would do a FNAF house at Halloween Horror Nights. Maybe this year? Especially since they have a movie now with a second on the way. Anyways, this building is pretty good. There's only two things here, actually three, that don't make much sense. One is this gap between Cam 8 and Cam 5. Now, if I designed a cool room with a bunch of arcade machines to scare people, I would be sure that they walked through that room. Same thing here in the hall with the Bonnie statue. I would block this hall off, but still make it where you could see the other side. The last thing is the comically large vents. Maybe put them up high where people can't actually reach them, and make them cut off just out of view. There is no need for them to connect the whole building like this. I actually made all these changes in this map here. That's right, I put way more effort into this little project than I needed to. This is the first map of 3 that I redesigned, and honestly, it's still very close to the original. The goal here is to keep the base of the original design and just tweak it to enhance it. I made 2 major changes here. The first is this room here. Fazbear's Fright is missing a larger room, in my opinion. This would be something like a rundown dining hall, possibly with a stage in the corner or something like that. It makes so much sense for an attraction like this to have a room like that. The other change I thought would be cool is swapping the entrance and exit. The idea here is to make the security office more relevant. This would be where you pay to get in. Maybe it could be remade into a prize counter kind of thing. I don't know, something cool like that. FNAF 3 is a pretty simple one to redesign, but the next one was not. Let's jump right into Five Nights at Freddy's, the original. The first FNAF game is great, but I'm sure you've heard that countless times already in an infinite number of videos. One of my personal biggest criticisms with the game is the layout of the building itself. It's actually what inspired me to make this video in the first place. I did not know that I'd be doing all these locations, but I was definitely going to do this one. There's a lot wrong with it, and while that doesn't make the gameplay itself any less amazing, it does take me out of the world a little bit when playing. The main thing that you've probably heard countless times are the 2 long corridors leading to your security office. For one, these are just way too long and have nothing going on in them besides the supply closet on the left side. There's no real purpose to all this space. I mean, it's not like they would realistically let kids back here, despite the drawings and posters littered across the walls. The other thing about these is all the wasted space. This building just has so much wasted space, which for a family-friendly Chuck E. Cheese style restaurant is absolutely not realistic. I remember going to Chuck E. Cheese as a kid, and those things were crammed to the max, with no empty space. Fazbear Entertainment, being the company they are, would have definitely done the same for maximum profit. These hallways are also just dead ends. At least add a fire exit or something like in the FNAF movie. Other things that just don't make sense here are stuff like backstage being, well, not backstage or even connected to the stage at all. If they had to repair these things, you're telling me they moved animatronics that are hundreds of pounds all the way over here? Yeah, right. Another thing is this space. Is this even architecturally sound? I wouldn't think so, but I'm not an architect. I don't know if that's even the right profession for this kind of thing anyways. Regardless, it seems like a huge oversight for whoever built the pizzeria. The shape of the building in general is just very odd. Not impossible by any means, but very strange choices were made for the shape of it. Also, where do people actually enter from? Most just say here, but do we have any actual evidence of this? Surely a security system would have a camera where people enter and exit the building, yeah? There's so many weird decisions that went into putting this place together. Let's fix them. First things first, moving backstage to actually be connected to the stage. This would give much more convenience to repair and maintenance of the animatronics. In fact, let's make this whole wall flat and move Pirate's Cove to this corner of the dining hall. I would even go so far to add a connection between Foxy's stage and the main one, possibly letting him perform with the main three for special events and such. Now that this side is flat, let's put the entrance here. They'd probably do some kind of payment counter right here along this wall. Next is the bathrooms. They can actually stay right where they are, but I will shape them like this to get rid of unnecessary space at the end of the hall. I will also keep this top entrance to the hall, but add a second down here. That's because I'm putting an arcade in this space, with Pirate's Cove being visible and basically a part of the arcade itself. Next, let's go down here, where I think the most work needs to be done. First, remove the right hall and make the left one like way shorter. This eliminates confusion, gives less areas for kids to wander into, and reduces unused space. We still have this unused space though, so let's shove the prize counter here. It's like this in Help Wanted and uses the space perfectly. With one hallway being gone, we can move the kitchen in to reduce the odd cornering of the building. Something that Freddy's Pizzeria is missing is a break room. Let's put one here, next to the supply closet, and corner it to even out the building again. With that, the building is complete. Red doors are employee-only spaces, and blue are for customers. I think that adding a fire exit here would be a good touch, and we're done here. If you're asking about a safe room, there isn't one. This is in a universe where Fazbear isn't known for unsafe practices, MCIs, and spring locks. Rather, a highly successful family pizza chain that kids love to go to for birthdays. In other words, this is Fazbear Entertainment if it was run by someone other than William and Henry. Anyways, our final, and my personal favorite redesign is Five Nights at Freddy's 2. So what's wrong with this layout? A lot. Just like FNAF 1, there is no entrance, and this time, I don't know where it would even logically be. Also the same, parts and services is even farther away from the main stage in this game. Seriously, the distance here is actually wild to me. What is this space even for? Also, imagine what the outside of this building looks like when it's shaped like this. It literally reminds me of some of my Minecraft houses I would build when I was like 10. These vents make even less sense considering how much of a hazard and liability that would be for the company. I mean, not that they normally care, but if this was realistic, they would probably care about it a little bit more. If giant animatronics can fit, so could kids from the party rooms. You know, for being a pizzeria, this place is certainly lacking a major component of one. Where is the kitchen in this building? Do they just like get pizza delivered from Domino's or something? There's a bunch wrong here. I'd say probably the most of any of these older FNAF games. Let's get into my redesign, which changes a whole lot about this questionable layout. Just like I did with the first game, parts and services is going next to the stage and being connected like this. It just makes infinitely more sense here. The entrance of the building will go here because it just fits best with the rest of the layout I made. Kids Cove can stay, but I'm going to line it up with this edge and add a new room in this big empty space. This, of course, will be the kitchen. The hallway here and the bathrooms can all be refined to look more like this, flattening the wall of the building. These two right party rooms will stay, and they'll go here now. With the kitchen sticking out quite a bit, let's add some stuff down here. A supply closet is useful, along with, again, a break room. I'll also add the security office here too. This little hallway will help connect the kitchen to the party rooms easier, speaking of which, these two. With parts and services moved, I will extend this party room to look more like this, evening the building. The fourth room will actually be transformed into an arcade, and extend it down to line up with this wall of the building. We're almost done, but I have a few finishing touches. I want a prize corner here, where kids can use their tickets from the arcade to purchase the best Freddy plushies available. Also a little stage here, maybe for one of the mediocre melodies, or some side character like that. It just adds to the space and entertainment value of the arcade. The final thing here is another stage in this party room. Its massive size compared to the other two would surely make it more expensive to rent out, so why not add more incentive for people to actually rent it? This stage I think would feature Fredbear and Spring Bonnie in this universe of a highly safe and successful Fazbear Entertainment. Maybe a ball pit in Kids Cove and we're all set here. I just turned this very clearly gameplay first layout into something that I think could genuinely make a lot more sense in the real world. This one is my favorite redesign that I did, and I still think there could be some great gameplay if this was used in a game. FNAF 2 just went from being one of my least favorites to one I see a lot of potential in. So what exactly was even the goal with this video? I'm by no means saying that these early games are bad just because of their very video gamey layouts. I just thought it would be really fun to dive into something like this, something that you never really think about when actually playing these games. I suppose that really means that there's nothing wrong at all, because they end up blending perfectly into the gameplay. Regardless, this video was really fun to make. I think I want to do more redesigning FNAF videos. Let me know if you want one of these videos done on the Pizzaplex, as I think I would also have a lot to say there. If you want to help me make some of these environments become a reality, please reach out to me. Email is best, but you could also use Blue Sky or Discord as well. Thank you for watching today's video. If you like it, be sure to like it and consider subscribing for more random FNAF stuff like this. It's been a pleasure, stay safe out there, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye, superstars.